Hello, hello. So I was talking to my kids about water weenies. When I was in middle school, back in the 80s, we had a heyday with water weenies. And they didn't know what it was. We've got this water event planned, and I said, you know what, we need to make us some water weenies. And we used to have so much fun. In fact, on the last day of middle school, every year, middle school, grades 7 and 8, but on the last day of middle school, we had this huge water fight, and it was around the whole city. Kids would get in the back of people's pickup trucks, filled with water balloons and buckets of water and water weenies. And you would walk along the street, and you'd have to watch your back to see who was coming up from behind, or you would ambush somebody else who was, you know, part of the water war that was going on. The school day was half a day, and from that point forward until that evening, it was this massive water fight, and it was awesome. So today we set out to make some water weenies. However, living in a small town, we don't have all the, you would think, you know, something not common, but common enough to be something you could pick up at a hardware store, would be the tubing, the surgical tubing or the latex tubing. Could not find it anywhere. So I'll tell you what we did is we went to Big 5 and we picked up simply one of these resistant bands, and it's a medium weight, and we're just going to try to use this as the basis for our water weenie. So let's see how this works here. Okay, so let's see if we can take a look at this, and I can show you what I'm doing. I've taken this exercise band. I don't know, the piece that I want is this rubber piece, and it's only about 5 feet. I would actually prefer a little bit longer, but first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to cut off these straps. I don't need these straps anymore. I can't think of any reason how they would make this water weenie any better, so that's just using my razor knife here. I'm just going to cut these off like that, and I kind of like the seal. Normally what we would do is we would have 2 open ends. This one has a stop already on the end, so instead of cutting that off and tying it into a knot like I would do normally on a piece of this latex, I'm just going to cut off the strap, and I'll come back and get that off later. But I want to cut the strap off on both of these. Now this resistance band at Big 5 cost me about 13 bucks. And yeah, again, you know, you could probably get it for cheaper if you just bought the elastic tubing, but I had searched everywhere in this community for the tubing and was not able to find it. So we're gonna make 2 of these, one for each of my boys. So I'm just gonna measure that right in half, or right down the middle, and cut it in half like that. So now I have 2 resistant bands that are roughly the same size. Now, there's really nothing special to this. What you want to do is you want to be able to fill this up with water, let it expand. That expansion is going to give you the pressure you need to shoot the water out, and you have your deluxe water gun, or using this latex tubing, what we call a water weenie. Okay, now I also bought these. I went down to Ace Hardware. I was hoping they would have this elastic tubing. They didn't, but and I picked up these splicers, and we're going to see, we may or may not use these. These are not, you know, necessary, but I'm thinking it might give us a little more ability to fire this thing if that's in there. But first of all, we're going to fill it up. So let's go fill it up. Okay, so we're ready to try this now. I'm going to fill the latex tubing. I just simply put on one of these nozzles that come with water balloons that you can fill up water balloons with, and I'm going to place that in the edge of, or the end of my tube like this. I'm trying to do this one-handed as I hold the phone or the camera with my other. Hold this for me. Thank you. It's gonna go in there. Lickety split. Now what I want when I turn on this water is I want a big balloon to develop about halfway down the end of this. Thank you. So let's see what happens. Go ahead and start that water, Jess. Oh, turn it down. Yeah, that wasn't the way to do it. What I had to do is break out the old pipe wrench to get this nozzle on. I don't know if that's gonna work or not, but otherwise, we're gonna have to come up with a plan C. But let's try this. I'm just gonna connect these two, try and hold that tightly into place. And what we wanna see is a big bulge form on this end when we turn the water on. And let this expand and fill up with water, because that's how we turn this into a water weenie, right? So, I'll take that. Go ahead and give me the camera. I'll take it right here. And you turn on the water for me, Jess, please. Let's see what we get here. Either success or wet. One of the two. Oh, there it goes.
Wow.
There it goes. Now that is what you call a water weenie. All right. So you let that fill up. The biggest problem we'll have next is carrying it.
Got it tied off or what?
And I'm hoping that this latex right here is, I mean, it feels strong enough to fill this pretty full. But you can see the more water, the wetter the other person, right? Just keep pumping that in. Down to that end. Still going. Still going. All right, I'm gonna have you shut that water off in just a minute here, Jess. Try to keep the whole thing into play. Keep it going. Keep it going. Keep it going. Keep it going. All right, shut it off. Turn it off. Is it? Okay, I'm gonna hand this to you, buddy. Ay, caramba, what are you caramba over there?
And you got this little piece?
Okay, yeah, so let's try this. We're gonna insert our valve into the end.
Wow.
This is simply to give us a better shot, right? A better flow, a better stream. The only way, though, you're gonna have to shut this off is to pinch it here. We don't have an on-off switch.
That'd be
so,
cool.
That would be cool.
Of
course, in the old days, we never had that. Then you take your water weenie and you wrap it around you.
Please don't shoot me! Please don't shoot me! Please don't.
And then now I have my water weenie. Look at that. I feel like I'm back in the 80s again, right? It works!
Woo!
Let's
Yeah.
see what kind of distance we get here. Wow. 50 out at least. All right, there we go.